Salut. On se retrouve pour la vidéo
suédoise.
Donc on est arrivé ici il y a une dizaine de jours à peu près.
On a visité Stockholm, Goteborg et Vastervik. Stockholm c'est la capitale, Goteborg la deuxième plus grande ville et Vastervik une toute petite ville. Tout le monde se demande pourquoi on est ici.
Donc déjà en Suède, dès qu'on a commencé nos micro-trottoirs, on s'est rendu compte qu'on se trompait sur la vision qu'on avait de la Suède.
Totalement.
En fait, on pensait vraiment qu'en arrivant, ça allait être vraiment le pays égalitaire, qui était vraiment concentré sur l'égalité homme-femme. Et en fait, ils sont, mais pas comme autant qu'on pensait.
Les salaires sont différents entre les hommes et les femmes.
Ça, les Suédois étaient catégoriques dessus. Il y a un gros problème dans la société suédoise sur les salaires.
Il y a du harcèlement de rue. On peut dire que les progrès sont plus axés sur la garde après la maternité.
Ouais, le congé parental est très avancé en Suède.
Et en politique, ils essayent de faire autant d'hommes que de femmes.
Oui, de leur parlement, 45% des députés sont des femmes, donc c'est beaucoup par rapport à la France.
Et les progrès aussi sont dans le fait qu'ils ont inventé un genre. Il y a il, elle et un autre genre pour désigner les personnes transsexuels,
transgenres, qui se définissent ni féminin ni masculin. Donc ça, ils sont vraiment avancés et très ouverts d'esprit sur ça. D'ailleurs, on a vu des toilettes neutres.
Dans la plupart des lieux communs, il y a des toilettes neutres et c'est trop bien.
Ouais.
Du coup, comme c'était pas le sujet de notre vidéo,
on n'a pas trop axé là-dessus.
On s'est rendu compte des différences entre les hommes et les femmes qui sont toujours présentes.
Et aussi, on a vu, c'est la première fois qu'on se rend compte de ça, la vision sur l'égalité homme-femme est totalement différente entre les grosses villes et les villes plus petites.
Par exemple, à Vastervik, les personnes ne voient pas du tout d'inégalité entre les hommes et les femmes, ne voient pas du tout de harcèlement de rue, alors qu'à Stockholm, les gens en voient. Donc, vous allez voir ça dans la vidéo.
On vous laisse profiter et on se retrouve
après.
No.
Yes. Of course.
It depends on which work.
Nope.
So
Some work, perhaps.
yeah, some work, and the gap is closing, I think.
Yes, in Sweden. Yes. No, we don't.
Why?
Well, I think it's due to a tradition.
It's historical.
Because it's men hiring men. That's why it's easy.
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so, but it's not ready.
I say so. Yes, and
I think so if you're not getting pregnant or planning to have children. I think
That makes a difference, I think.
Yeah,
yes.
It makes a difference. When they ask you in a job interview, are you going to have children in the nearest couple of years? I think that makes a difference.
It depends a lot, but generally I don't think the difference is so big. No. And women have generally better grades, so some jobs may be better to be a woman.
Yeah, I think you can notice it more on the wages rather than how easy or hard it is to get a job.
Yeah, I agree.
After school, if we're talking about university, yes, I do. There's a difference in wages, as I said before, but yes, women tend to be more well educated than men. They often continue to university and college after the gymnasium or high school. I'm not so sure.
Not anymore. Not in the same way.
So.
No. I think the young generation that's growing up, they have more respect for the women.
Yes,
they don't do that anymore. It's just the old men who are doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to do it.
No, you're not.
No, not so much.
No, really.
I think, if I go to another country much more, I think Sweden is much better.
Yeah. In that perspective.
Yeah, like in the street, yeah. I think one thing is that people are generally more shy and introvert.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's just that. I think it's respect. We go to the same schools and we do the same things. So it's I don't know. would just
But
be
you think-
strange.
yeah.
In many countries it's more separated, and maybe that's why it like creates more differences.
But I think that it can be like, just like you said, that we're a bit more introvert, so like the harassment or what you can call it can be more subtle. Like you don't act out your thoughts that much, maybe, because you can still notice that people look at you in a certain way.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I would say so. Yes, like catcalling. Like I know it's not even half as much as in like Brazil or like other countries in Europe, because we are quite good here, and often you have people on your side wherever you are. But yeah, like yeah, yeah. Well, as fast as this happens, you have to tell them to fuck off. Like always. Even if you're scared, just do it. You know, I know people are scared for telling people off, but I think if everyone just stand up and is not afraid of like getting a punch, getting stabbed or whatever, it would change it. It's all about like, yeah, doing that.
Well, how you can change that? Well, it's probably a matter of education, upbringing of young men, older men perhaps too, so that they respect women better.
No.
No, I don't think so. I still think that a woman is regarded on in a bad way if you have a lot of sexual partners, while the man is still a little bit cool, unfortunately.
I don't think so.
You don't think
No.
so?
What do you think?
What do you think?
No, I think it's more equal today than it was before. I think that lots of sexual partners by men isn't okay. No.
Or it is okay for the women too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But is it?
No, it's not. Yeah, well, we don't have the same opinion there, but
No.
that's how it is. I don't. Yeah.
Probably they are viewed in a less favorable manner than men. I mean, for men it's considered to be probably a mark of manliness, and for women it's probably a mark of considered as a mark of lower morals.
No, I don't think that. Because if a girl have much love with boys, then the other boys will think that she's like a, how can I explain that with good words? Like a hoe.
Sexuality is always placed upon the men. Like it's always their orgasm first, every time. Like, and I think as a woman we will learn to that's how it is, and as long as he got it, it's fine. It's sex, and I've read like articles about it, and it's. It differs, the difference between how women see good sex and men see good sex, and it's like if the woman doesn't feel any pain, it's good. That's the standard. But the man is like, okay, as long as I come, that's it. And I think we get a lot of mind ghosts and stuff from porn, and totally mind fuck everyone. It's crazy. It's as the porn and the thing we see orgasms and and like today we are talking about it a lot more. Me and my friends were talking about it, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy this thing, but it's not as the guys do it.
No, I don't think it's something that you talk about as much.
No, I feel it's like you don't talk so much about
Either. Yeah, true. But if you would talk about it, I think it would be more men.
I don't think it should be.
No, I don't think that. I haven't been informed about it, so. Then I go to high school. So.
because they are.
Yeah. Yes.
What age?
Well, we have a son. He's 14, and he knows very well what he have to do and not. But he's not. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
He knows what a condom is.
They should be, because it's on their schedule.
No, we don't talk about so much.
No, it's not. No.
Well, I mean, it's not usually something that you talk about now, but it's. I don't think there are any, I'd say, any superstitious taboos that women are considered to be unclean or something like that. But I mean, of course, there are probably a lot of prejudices when it comes to female menstruation.
No, talk about it.
No, not so much now, but it has been, actually, definitely, but not so much now.
I think she has a heart. I think there's a lot of more pressure on a woman than on a man.
Which sort of pressure?
Sexual. You have to look at you have to look a certain way to get the good jobs. You have to. I think there's larger pressure for a woman to look good and behave good than there are on the men.
We can just be ugly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll get a job anyway. Look at you. You have a job.
Yes.
Well, both yes and no. I mean, it depends on what kind of ideals that we're talking about being beautiful, etc. It's probably a female pressure, but for men it's perhaps more about being physically fit, strong, fast, etc.
Yeah, you can see. I went out yesterday with a lot of friends, women, and one of them had a 10-year-old girl at home, and she had asked if she could make these long nails, 10 years old, and they always want this big eyelashes and yeah. Yes, because often men are very self-sure and women are not so self-sure as men are. If we send in my documents to a new job, maybe I feel a little, can I manage? Will I do it good? But a man, sure, he can manage.
Well, I think the fashion industry want us men to use perhaps.
Now, how we can change it's the grown women who has to set stop for this. You could always blame the men for this and say, but it's the men who want us to look nice. But I don't think the men doesn't like this and all that and skinny girls in real, if you ask. Of course, perhaps some young men who are really indoctrinated in this, I don't know. I don't think elder men wants that.
Should be a real woman.
Yeah.
With curves.
We have, I don't know how many months it is now. Well, mostly 1 year free when you can take care of your child, and 3 months of those.
You mean when you just have children? Yes.
Yeah.
I think
it's 3 months that the man have to take.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
It's good if
together.
He takes more.
I think it's 1 year.
Yeah.
365 days, and I have to take 3 months.
At least.
You have at least.
At
and
least.
You 9 months.
Yeah.
9 months. Yes.
So one of them have to take at least 3 months. The best thing is to take 6 months each. And there are more and more men who are staying at home for a longer time, which is great.
I think it's quite good.
I think it's equal, like the parental leave and maternal leave.
Yes.
But how it is in reality, it's not always equal, I think. But I think it's going towards that anyway. And I think it's better than in many other countries.
I think that it's mostly women. I think that women take out between 70 and 80% of the parental leave.
In politics, yes.
No, of course not. Because about the sexual harassment and stuff, it's everywhere, and it's a form of control of the women. It's not that it's just in schools or just in the streets. It's like everywhere, in every social situation, and even in the politics. So even though we have strong women who have good positions in politics, of course they have had a harder time to get there.
Oh yes, I think so. I think they are better than men.
No, I don't think so. No, and we've never had a female prime minister. So that's, no, not as many women. Yeah, I guess that's sort of like tradition that hasn't changed yet. But,
The same structure that goes down to all the things that you ask about as well. And like in the same thing about like members of boards and stuff. It's far more men.
Well, if we take a look at the Swedish Parliament, I think that the ratio is that I think around 55% of the parliamentarians are men and between 40 and 45% are women. So we're quite okay, but it's not perfect.
I think it's better there, isn't it? We had some say some years ago that in politics there should be a man and a woman, a man and a woman. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's quite that, but nearly, I think. It's almost 50-50 in the politics.
Yeah, I think that. In Sweden, yes.
Well, there is a laws regarding equality. It says, for instance, say when you're recruiting new personnel, that of course you're not allowed to discriminate between men and women. But if say for instance there is a big difference between say there are much more men than women in a certain position, then you're allowed to, provided that they're both equally skilled, to choose the underrepresented sex, but that goes both ways. So it's the same for men. That is one example, and then of course we have the laws against discrimination in various forms.
There's not a law, but they say that you should have equal salary, but we are not there yet.
And every bigger employer have to make a plan for salary
and how to make women raise and get better jobs and become chefs.
In the end, after everything is measured and so on, and if they see it's a big difference between men and women, they have to close that gap.
I think the largest disequality is the wages. Otherwise, I think we're pretty equal.
I think so.
Because I'm making more food than you are.
Yes,
so,
but I'm richer than you are.
Yes, there is some, like in most places, but I think Sweden is much better than many other countries that I've been to.
There are many things that we still have to work on in Sweden as well, but like you said, comparing to other countries, I think it's better. Yeah, we discussed last week in my school that you've heard about Me Too, that it had a very large impact in Sweden. It can be because that we already have quite good equality, so that people actually can see like the differences.
The one I think of immediately is the difference in wages and pay. Same amount of pay, and usually women earn less than men.
It's I've been working a lot with these questions, And I can sometimes I say, oh my God, we haven't got anywhere since 50 years back. It's the same. But in many ways we have, of course. So I think it's, it's much to do. We had, when we should do some, we had some things to do, and there should be 4 groups to take care of this. And the leader said, well, we have here 4 people who are going to take 1 group each, and then we have Mr. C and so and Mr. C and so and Mrs. Oh no, we take Mr. Yeah, and you change when you have free, when you have job. When you shall employ new people, and you make this where you tell what you want from this person, and then you got perhaps 4 women and 1 man who search the job. Then you make a new, because you don't want the women to that work, you want the man, so you make a new one. So a lot of things like that.
On espère que ça vous a plu et on se retrouve
aux Pays-Bas.
Salut.